everybody, I'm Avian, and we are going through a Stardew Valley Modders how-to video series. This video is going to be on how to make a quest similar to the ones that show up in your journal. So for example, when Pam wants a pale ale and it shows up in the journal. So we're going to go ahead and start with the wiki page. Just because I think it's the best way to start is to look at the wiki page and see what all is involved in the pieces you're trying to make. So this is going to show you everything that you need to know for making a quest. You're going to need to decide on an ID for your quest, what type it is. There's several types of quests, as you can see here. What we're going to be doing is an item delivery quest. We're doing this one for my mod, the Garden Cottage, and Howie is going to send a letter asking the farmer for some eggs so he can make some breakfast sandwiches. So this would fall under the item delivery category. You will need to make a title for your quest and how it appears in the journal, along with a description and some basic short instructions to go in the journal. Because you can't always access the letters afterwards, you open the journal and it's a separate set of instructions. The completion requirements. So in this case, when the eggs are delivered to Howie, that will complete the quest. Are there going to be any secondary quests? Like, is it going to be a string of fetch quest, or is this a standalone quest? So you notice this one says optional. So if this is a no, then we will leave this section blank. Is there any monetary reward given? If there is no reward that's money, what is that reward going to be, if anything? Can the quest be canceled? And what is the dialogue for completing the quest? There are additional sections on this wiki for completion requirements, so you can look at the types of requirements for finishing the quest that you might want to look at. There's a secondary chart down here. But most of what I want is just up here. It's a nice short wiki page. They're fairly simple to understand. And I will go ahead and start here. Mostly when I start a quest, I start with the dialogue strings. This is in my translation file, so I'm going to go ahead and set that up so that I have all my translation keys ready when I go to fill them into my quest. I'm going to put a little comment here with the double slash so that I know what this section is for. We're going to need 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. I'm not sure why I have the letter title in this one, but it is fine. So you're going to start with your double quotes on your translation key, colon, space, second set of double quotes, and a comma. 2, 3, 4, 5. And here's where you set your key for what goes in your translation. So this is going to be Howie. Oh, not a star. I want an 8. 8 heart. Helps if I can spell correctly. And I'm going to use the same starter of the key so that I know this all goes together. And then I'm going to go dot title. Dot info. I'm following my same scheme that I've used for the others. Word. Reaction. Okay. So next thing is I'm going to double check here. Your title goes in the journal. Then we want the description and the short instructions. Howie's egg quest for the title, the information. Okay. Bring Howie. Okay, I gotta do some math here because he wants an egg per sandwich. He's gonna make everybody sandwiches plus the farmer. Okay, that's a single space. So we've got Howie, his twin, his grandfather, Jackie, if she's there, the farmer, his dad, and Andrew. So that is 7 eggs. Reward. Because I don't think Howie's going to have a lot of pocket money to pay for the eggs. He's just hoping you'll do it. Granted, Howie is only about 8 years old. So, Howie reaction. And a breakfast sandwich. Okay, the reward is going to be a breakfast sandwich made with one of the eggs. There we go. So now I have all of this set up. So all I have to do is copy our key into the translation section where appropriate on our quest. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. I'm going to leave it open so I can copy things over and do a word wrap so I can see what I'm doing. So when you set up a quest, it's going to look a lot like this. We're going to have our setup, when the quest is going to happen. And then this section right here is where everything in that table I just showed you is going to go. So I'm going to go ahead and set this up. I'm going to do it at the top. So we're going to go into our changes section. And I'm going to make a note for myself. So then we're going to want to start out with a set of curly brackets. VS Code automatically closes them for me. So we have a start bracket, a close bracket, and then a comma. If I take that comma out, you'll notice that right there it gets angry. So we need that comma in to separate the sections. We can then start our line. The first thing you're going to do here is you're going to do the action command, colon, quotes, oh, not a period, a comma. Inside that action command is going to be edit data. Data. The next one we want is going to be the target. So that is what data are we targeting to be edited. Colon, double quotes. And again, all your quotes, all your brackets need an open and close. In this case, our data quest is going to be what's targeted. So this is in the original game. The quest JSON stored in the data file is where the original quest information is stored. So we are adding information to that. When is this going to be targeted? So this is going to be a when. The colon. Now the thing with the when command is they are contained within their own set of curly brackets. So opening and ending brackets, make sure there's the comma at the end. So when, inside our when command is going to be the has flag. This is what is set by our letter. It is called a mail flag. I touched on it very briefly when we did our mail video. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to our mail JSON. I put it right up here at the top because I knew I was going to need to find it. It's Howie Glass's letter. And that is the name of our flag. So when has flag is the name of our letter. So it's this part that VS Code has blue is the name of our mail flag or the name of our letter. We copy that, goes right back over here into the has flag section. So the next bit after the when command is going to be our entry. So when that happens, then this quest under entries is going to be followed. So we'll do entries, a colon, and the entries again is one that's contained in its own brackets. So we got our open and close. I'm going to put a space. I don't necessarily think the space is required, but it helps me see it visually. And then we want to put that comma on the end. So in our entries, we're going to need our quest name. And again, for this, we're going to go back to our mail because this is something that we have already set in my letter. You could also flip it around. You can set your quest and then write your letter. But for me, I did my letter first. So I'm going to go back to where it says item quest. They need to match. Otherwise, the letter and the quest, the letter will not attach the quest for the farmer's journal. So I need to copy this exactly. So it's going to be entries. We start out with the quotes, colon, second set of quotes, comma. In the first set of quotes, I am going to copy that quest name. Now this part is where we have to go and refer to our table because everything here has to go in the exact order listed here. So the key, which is the very first thing, that is the name of our quest. The next thing is going to be our type of quest. In this case, it's an item delivery quest. So I'm going to copy that so it's spelled exactly. We're going to do a /. And what I'm going to do right here is we're going to do title, description. And that way I know this is just going to be placeholder title / description / so each / indicates the next part of the table. Objective, completion requirements, subjective. That's next quest ID. We do not have a next quest ID. So I'm going to put that in, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to immediately just leave it blank. So the / and there's nothing there. And make sure actually that I did that correctly. Leave blank or use -1 for none. So that is what I did here is I have this -1. So I'm going to stay consistent. We're going to use the -1 for none. Money. Okay, reward description. The instructions are saying to just make that -1, so I'm going to follow that description. Can be canceled. And reaction. So we have our placeholders in here. Our quest is going to be item delivery. Our title. Oh, I need to be, here we go. This is our title key right here, 8-heart Howie title. I'm going to copy that. Then we're going to, right here, we're going to put in our translation key. If you do not have a I18N file, You can just put in your title just like you would anything else in a string. But because I have the translation, I'm going to put in the key for that. There we go. So actually that's a cool thing VS Code does, is I can highlight, and then if I click my curly brackets, it adds the brackets to each side. I still need to put in the I, 1AN, and the colon so that it reads correctly. I now need my description. Get that in there. And then objective is the one that I named hint. And part of why I put it all in placeholders first was so that I would know I was putting the right translation portion in the right spot. Colon is a you need to get down. Completion requirements. Wrong thing. So let me make sure here. We'll vary by the quest. So this is where the section section wants you to go to the second chart. So for item delivery, we're going to need to fill out this information. This information for our completion requirement. So what this is the NPC you are delivering to. In this case is this, the item ID and the count. And I have already set, go over here, I said 7 eggs. So in our count, we're going to put a 7. Now the eggs, I'm going to look something up, and that is not the one I wanted. So it's probably this one, item IDs. So a lot of people have made item ID charts that you can just look up real quick. There is a category specific for eggs, which is what I want, which is right here. So anything -5 is going to mean any egg, and I want any egg to be able to count. So I'm going to put -5 there. Item ID -5. Okay. The next -1 that we had looked at that I got from right here was the next quest. And because that's false, we put a -1. The amount of money given upon completion for the quest. Okay, so the cost of an egg is 50 gold. I don't think Howie's going to have a lot of pocket money. So, but I don't think he would leave the farmer hanging too much. He's going to make him a sandwich and he's going to give him 100, which is probably the cost of 2 eggs. Hopefully the farmer won't feel too bad about it. Okay, so reward description. And we want to leave that as -1. Can be canceled. We're going to set to false because I don't want this one to be canceled because this is a key for an event. And then our reaction is going to be this one. So I do not need this part right there. I wasn't sure for a moment. That's probably left over from the previous version. Reaction. Okay. Okay, so that will now add our quest. And we don't need to add any thank you letters or anything to that. It's just going to set the key that the quest is complete. And that the farmer has gotten the letter. And you know what? Let's bump the money up. And then later, if I want him to send the farmer a sandwich, we can do that. But I think for now, I'm going to leave it like that. And I will think about if I want him to give the farmer a sandwich via letter or if I want something else to happen. But that is it for how to set up a simple quest. I hope the information was useful. And until the next video, I hope you have a wonderful day.